Oh, what? Okay, so today we are solving equations. I think y'all will like today. It's very similar to what we were doing yesterday, but once we make the denominators common or match or whatever you want to call it, then they disappear. Okay, which is kind of nice. All right, so with solving, we're going to do the same thing where we're going to make sure our denominators match, but once they match, we don't need them anymore, okay? Because if I asked you the question, what does x equal? 2. Y'all just solve the rational equation, okay? So notice how you were able to say, okay, well, if I look at this and I say, oh, 2/3, what would make this 2/3 if x was 2? Okay, so notice how the denominators are the same. So they kind of just really disappear, and all we do is set x equal to 2, and there's our answer. Now, that's super easy, and our goal is to get them to look that way, but that's basically what we're doing today.
Are they all going to be that easy?
Huh?
Are they all going to be that easy? Can
That's a no.
they? Worth a shot.
Okay, same thing here. What would x be?
2.
2. Did not have to know anything about solving rational equations there. You're just like, hey, what would make this equation true? 2. Okay. What about this one? 8. Again, denominators are the same. Really don't need it. Now these are just the easier ones. Okay. Let's look at this. Go ahead and write this one down. Yeah.
I have a guess what the answer is.
What's your guess?
-2.
Okay. Good guess.
Is it plus or minus 2?
Well, it could be plus or minus because that x minus 2 if it's positive would be 0 on the denominator.
Why not?
What do you mean why? I just told you why not.
What if your name is 0 and you cut someone in half?
What? That's not.
That's not even about it.
You were divided by 0.
Okay, so Kate's actually right. All right, and that's not in. I'm saying like that is true. Okay. So when I look at this problem and I say the denominators are both x minus 2. All right. I don't need the denominator anymore, just like I didn't need the denominator on those last couple problems. So naturally, I want to say that if I solve for x, take the square root, I include my plus or minus, can I get this? Okay. This is where math is neat. All right. You solved the problem, you did it right, you did everything you were supposed to, but that answer is wrong. Okay? So that's the annoying part. You could solve this problem completely correct and still get it wrong. All right? So what that means is this right here, this extraneous solution. An extraneous solution is a solution that does not fit within the domain, okay? So you got it as a solution, but it doesn't work for what you're doing, okay? And that's exactly what Kagan was just saying. It can only be x equals 2 because what I've trained y'all to do every single time is to tell me, -2, to tell me every single time what x cannot be, okay? So the first thing you're going to do, just like the first thing you did on all those problems yesterday, is you're going to tell me what x cannot be. Okay? Once you've determined what x cannot be, you'll solve the problem, and then you'll double check to make sure it's not what it can't be. So in this particular case, x equals -2 is our only solution. Let me scroll up. Some of y'all are writing that definition down. Okay. So if x can't be 2, even though when we solved we got x equals 2, it is not a solution. So x equals -2 is our only answer. You always have to check what can x not be. I get my answer, I double check, hey, is it one of the things x can't be? Okay, I'm good. They include those extraneous solutions on a multiple choice test. Okay? So you could have A where the answer is 2 and -2. You could have B where your answer is just -2. Okay, so be on the lookout for that. All right. Let's look at this one. What can x not be? I'm sorry? 0. Okay, some people have a tendency of sticking to the opposite, and they'll say x can't be -3. Yeah, it can. 3 times -3 is -9. That's legal. Or someone will say x can't be -6. Yeah, it can. We can divide by -36. Okay. So, but if x was 0, then we would be dividing by 0, which is not legal. Okay. Do our denominators match? No. What looks like a number, we need to make at least the number the same. I probably didn't say that correctly. What looks like
Do we need to change?
no, what am I trying to say?
Apparently
Hold on.
the board doesn't know either. This is
The board gave up. Board gave me some pause, big time. Okay. What number should we make all of them match? 6. Ooh, thanks for getting on my level. That was a whole other ball game. Okay, so if I want them all to be 6, okay? So I'm gonna multiply this one by 2. This one's fine, and I'm gonna multiply this one by 3. They all have an x, except for the last one. So I'm going to give the last one an x as well. If you need this next step, use it, okay? If not, don't worry about writing it. But some people need to see that what they've created actually works, okay? You don't have to show this step, but like I said, some people need to see that, oh, okay, yeah, I have created the same denominator, okay? But that's a step you don't necessarily have to show. Since I have the same denominator, denominator disappears, and I'm back to algebra 1 again. Go ahead and solve for x.
Second page of algebra.
Gotcha, okay. Just turn another one in, that we actually did, and then I'll bring that one when we do it tomorrow. Is that
no.
okay, cool. Okay, so if I distribute my 2, and combine my terms. Move 2x over, I get 5 equals x. We said x can't be 0, so we're in the clear. My answer is true, I get x equals 5. Okay. So it's just nice to have this written somewhere, okay? It's not required, but I would hate for you to solve the entire problem and then look at it and say, okay, x equals 0, but x can't be 0, okay? Questions on solving so far? Make denominators match, and they disappear. We solve like algebra 1. Try this one. Okay, so I see that one of them has a 2, so I'm going to make the rest have a 2. Now, as much as I'm tempted to, I can't just square everything. That's not how that works, okay? But x squared means there's 2 x's. So I'm just going to multiply by an additional x. So then technically now I have 2x squared for everything. Okay? What does that mean x cannot be? I'm sorry? 0. Okay? So then now I get 3 plus 2x equals 8x. I subtract my 2x. Now this is where some of us don't show work and it gets us in trouble. This is 1/2, not 2. Naturally, we see 3 and 6 and we're like, oh, the answer is 2. Okay, so our answer is 1/2. X can't be 0, so I'm in the clear. Okay. Questions on that so far? Yeah.
Are there going to be situations where like the only solution that we get is the one with the restriction?
Excellent question. So that is possible. The question was, is there ever going to be a situation where your extraneous solution or what they're saying x can't be? Guys, are y'all with me back there? On your phones? Matthew's answering that for y'all. Okay, so where x can't be 0, and then let's say you get the answer 0. What do you think your answer is?
No real solution.
You don't have to be picky with the real. You can just say no solution. Okay. So if they're telling you your answer is this, but it can't be this, and that's your only option, it's no solution. Okay. That's a good question. Okay. Just like yesterday, you're going to factor first. But let me save you some time. Don't factor the numerator. Okay? Why? Because on the problem before, notice how what we do is we make the denominators match, and then we simplify the numerator. So why would you FOIL it, or factor it, to then FOIL it after? Okay? Would it work? 100%. Would it be annoying and save you, or not save you time? Absolutely. Okay, it would be a pain to do it, but it would still work. So only factor your denominator, and then go from there.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Ready?
You want to put 10 points of your brain?
I'll put a thing of M&Ms on
You had M&Ms and you gave us Whoppers?
it. Yeah. And I gotta get rid of-
What? You had Heat Bar and Reese's?
Dude, what's your lunch?
You've got like, what are those called again? Those rounds?
I don't know. That was, okay, that was left over from yesterday's lunch. And then, in yearbook club, they just have like a big thing of candy. And I'm in the driver's ed. So
So you just steal it?
yeah, they said that I could, they have like giant bags of it. And you're like, yeah, just like take however much you want. Miss Harris can
And you
attest.
gave us Whoppers.
I gotta agree with you.
I mean, you can ask Miss Harris for better stuff.
I feel like I don't know one.
I would rely on one of my students to provide.
I feel like I don't know one person who like says Whoppers is their like favorite candy.
I'll eat them.
Like,
I don't have a problem.
like,
I'll eat them,
But
it's just like a
everyone
high
else
grade
does
candy,
that.
so.
Yeah, but do you know anyone who like Whoppers is their favorite candy?
Yeah.
Anyone
So
at
it's
Avery
like-
Bar?
Candy when I was 8, and my grandma bought Whopper ice
You
cream
wanna
for my
eat?
birthday. And it was literally just like vanilla ice cream with like Whoppers in it.
I'll trade you Whoppers for you.
It just melted.
You're just gonna steal a whole nother pile of it today, aren't you?
Probably.
Probably. Well, Heat Bar are gonna sit up there today. Okay.
Keep my vote today.
All right, so how do you factor x squared minus 9x plus 18? Anybody?
I do.
Oh,
I was not responding to the last part, but the part of anything back to x minus 3 and x minus 6.
okay. All right, so when looking at this, they all have an x minus 3. They do not have an x minus 6. So this one needs an x minus 6. And now I have a common denominator. So this is what I mean by you would end up, oh, come on. You would end up, if you factored here, you would have to double distribute or FOIL or whatever you want to call it again. So it's fine if you want to do that. It's just going to add more time to the problem, and the problem's already long enough to begin with. So now we just have x squared minus 3x minus 4 plus x minus 4 is equal to, and I'm going to go ahead and distribute. Whoops. As I'm looking at the 6 at the same time. Distribute. Okay? So then from there, I'm going to combine like terms. And I'm going to move everything over from the right side to the left. And from there, I get minus 4x plus 4. What are factors of 4 that are going to get me negative 4?
Minus 2.
Negative 2, negative 2.
Well, why were you making me think I was wrong?
Because you are wrong. You see why?
Yeah.
Biggest mistake a lot of people make. They find the factors and they're like, that's my answer. Bless you. Okay, so don't fall victim to that.
It was probably gonna be much easier when you
If I set that equal to 0, I get x equals 2. What can x not be? 3 and 6. Okay, so we're clear on that.
Here's your M&M.
Oh wow, don't get hit.
That was actually like
Wait, no, now it's worth it.
Or you can have one.
I want you to have.
Oh, thank you.
You took a hit for it.
Do you like it?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Because I'll make him give you something else.
I don't really trust him.
Okay, I wouldn't either. Any questions on that?
You asked me like 6 times for mints yesterday.
Any questions? All right, so that's how extensive they can get. You have to factor afterwards or something like that, okay? especially if you end up with two answers, double check, make sure both of them work. So, Dan, your question from earlier today with the homework, how can I check? It's a lot, but if you have extra time at the end of the test and you got the answer was 2, I would plug it in, and then see if the equation
Well,
holds
it's
true.
just secure in this. I don't know what it is about the last thing we.
Yeah, it doesn't seem complete
Yeah.
because you're just simplifying and you're not saying x equals something. Yeah.
I think it's also because you can check it, like not because you are going to, but because like
Yeah.
you can actually check this one.
At least you're being honest. Not that you're going to,
Yeah.
but.
Like a subconscious thing, probably.
Can I try this one?
Then give you all your login information to log in and computer and stuff.
Yeah, I think I'm good.
Oh, good, you're in our page. Okay, so go to that little down. And then if you go to modules. And then scroll, so you'll find the textbook there and all kinds of like basic stuff. Scroll down, so you'll see we've done that. We've done this. All the way down. We're in normal 5, so we are solving right now. So the past couple of days, this was yesterday, this was the day before. So you'll notice, so if you'll click on apps and preferences. So I posted a video, that's what you're hearing on when I talk to it, because I have a virtual class starter, and they just look at these, and then if you want to officially recall right and see what we've done so far, I've taken just your grades from your other school, but if there's anything you want to maybe improve on, you can do that as well.
Okay.
So then go back to modules that we were interested in. And then you go, scroll up. That's all stuff that they made us put on there. So click on subtract functions. So that's the homework. So what you'll do is, so you have an app, the Canvas app. So that's gonna be the easiest thing. If you get the Canvas app on your phone, you can take a picture of your homework and submit it easily. That's easier. And then, see, that's where you'll submit your actual assignments. I don't think what else. Yeah, let's get you caught up with this chapter and then over fall break, you know, let's say like, oh, we did that at school, we didn't do that at school, we did this, we did that, or whatever, just kind of catch up where we're at.
Okay, that's fine.
Are you sharpening? Oh, I thought you were trying to sharpen.
Right.
I think I have it plugged. You're just stealing one of my pencils, right?
Yeah.
Really, you can have one.
I figured, sorry for that.
That's what they're there for. All right, if I need an x plus 5 here, an x plus 6, and an x plus 5. Okay, I end up with x minus 3 times x plus 5 plus 6 times x plus 6 equals x plus 4 times x plus 5. Then it just becomes a bunch of simplifying from there. Okay?
Interesting.
Oh.
Do you want to earn your last 10 points back?
Huh?
Do you want to earn your last 10 points back?
Depends how.
What's your answer?
Huh?
What's your answer?
Oh, I couldn't figure it out. I spent the
Can
whole
I have
time trying to
10,
figure
can I have his 10 points?
Sure.
Is it x equals -1?
You just lost 20 points.
Yeah, that wasn't
it was 10.
Yeah, it was.
No.
I said it, you just couldn't hear me.
I'll just say I lost 10 points.
No, you lost 20.
No, I lost 10.
Do you have the password to get in, Bridget?
I mean, I sure could figure it out.
I don't think so.
Eventually.
I've got a pretty good password.
But eventually, right?
And eventually they'll probably just lock you out.
That's impossible.
I don't think it works that way. Okay, so in this particular case, it really doesn't matter which x squared you're trying to get rid of because they both disappear. If I subtract x squared, I'm going to lose it here as well. So me personally, I don't like to deal with negatives. So I'm going to move my 8x over. So now I'm left with 21 is equal to x plus 20. And then I'm going to subtract 20. So x equals 1. That's why you lost 20.
I lost 10.
What?
No, you said 10.
All right, so x cannot be -6 or -5.
They're saying you can minus 10.
Good news, it's 1, so I'm safe there. Okay, what little mistakes are we making when we are making mistakes, if you don't care to share?
Subtracting 1 for no reason.
Okay,
Well, for a second, I thought you did multiply them all by the same. So I was like, there's no number you can do that would like make them happy. So I'm just gonna say the first second. I was like, oh.
like how to start it with
Yeah,
the
'cause I was
comment.
like, I didn't know that you could do different things like make them
Yeah.
the same. So I was like, how do I do this? And, like, make it-
You just make it match no matter what.
Okay. Now that
So you can actually, and that's a good thing you brought up, you could have, if you wanted to, it'd be a lot, but you could have not factored period. And I would say, okay, well, that one has an x minus 3. I'm going to multiply this by x minus 3 and this by x minus 3. And then I would take these and I would multiply it here. So you'll still get the same answer. So nothing's stopping you from just saying, hey, I see what I see. I'm just going to multiply everything. If you did it that way, you would have to simplify more at the end. What other mistakes can I help with that y'all are experiencing while doing these problems? Yeah.
So once you find the common denominator between both sides of the equation, does the denominator just disappear?
It's gone. We don't need it anymore. It has provided everything that we need it to do, where it tells us our extraneous and it tells us everything else. It's gone. Now, the hardest part, I will say, this is the last thing you've learned. So what you did yesterday tends to get mixed up in between the two. And you make your denominator disappear every time. And then it turns into a problem. So make sure only when solving the denominator disappears. Any other little mistakes that I can help with? If anything, I hope you're acknowledging them so you see them. Yes, that's in behavior. That's polynomials. Okay. Got some good news. Start your homework.
Wow.